Hello again, YouTube. Today I want to introduce you to a very long-awaited arrival. This is something that I have really needed. It's been hard to get hold of. And I actually have to give a shout out to Danny for helping me to acquire this product. I've looked around, I've tried other things. There are some things that would not make boat repairs affordable on the level that I'm doing it, and this would not be affordable to me and still be able to do the work for my customers at a reasonable price. I know West System is what a lot of people are using, but for what I pay for, or what I would be charged for this, I could do 30 times the repairs by using the MEKP and laminating vinyl. So I go with a 5-gallon pail of resin and a 1-gallon jug of hardener, and it's in a cooler for 3 reasons. Location, I know where it's at. And you'll notice that I have a few other things in here also. Let me slide it out. Now I have that on top of a polystyrene shipping cooler, basically. So the thing is, I use this to store other things that need to be temperature controlled. And then we're back to the other reasons I keep this stuff in here. This is my wax. Then I've got a few paints in here, and this is my Duratec. Got it in here, and this is all to keep all of this stuff temperature controlled. So my resins, they will last a lot longer. My gel coats, they will last a lot longer. You can actually put these in a refrigerator and they will keep even longer. So I put them in the, shouldn't have had that upside down, but I'll put them in the cooler. And what this will do for me, you see where I dripped a few drops, I'm gonna go ahead and clean that up. I don't know how that got upside down. I've got a little bit of denatured alcohol in this rag. I'll go ahead and clean that up if it will. Nope, it's already gooey. It'll have to be cleaned out with a stronger cleaner. Sorry for the shortness of breath. Sounds like a 1970s prank phone call, I know. But what I've done is I've rescued this from going to the landfill. It was one that my family had used up and it's seen its better days, so instead of it, so it's busted. So instead of it going to the landfill, I thought, why not use it for storing chemicals that need to be temperature controlled. My father had this built whenever I was just 6, maybe 5 years old, for doing auto body, and it's just a little custom made plywood cabinet that he's done. You can see multiple layers of build up over the years on here where he's done auto body. I went ahead and put gel coat on this door, just had a little leftover in the cup one day and thought, why not? And I've got a few things in there. This is actually something left over from my dad. He was just doing a car not too long ago. So I'm not going to throw what he uses out, but he does not want to do auto body because of the issues he's suffering with on his lungs. And then I've got this shelf up here. I've got my color. I've got some naughty silicone here This is not for doing on boats. This is for fixing other little things, temporary fixes, or making molds. I've got me some 4200. Try to stay away from the 5200 if you ever want to fix it again. I've got a couple little filters in here for my spray guns, a couple little putty knives, and yeah, I need to really clean the Munster family out of here. It looks like I had their interior decorator, but don't know why he had the 2 nails hanging here, but I've already caught a Tyvek on that. And you see how this is in here. I'm probably never going to use another Tyvek again, but this one has the hoodie on it. I've got my strainers in here, and I do use these because if you pour your resin through, it'll get any little contaminants out. I've got a couple cutter blades stored up in here because you go through those pretty quick. I buy a bunch of these. I love these tack cloths. I've got my little tubes of color. I can make any color you want from this, and I can drop them in the floor a lot too. These should actually be in a little box inside of the refrigerator to keep them from setting off and hardening up. You've got your colors to go. I've got a couple brushes. I've got the black. I've got another tube of blue. I'm trying to remember. I think I got these from Tap Plastic. I really like getting stuff from them, the colors and stuff. And that's Evercoat. Okay. So there's that. See, I've already flipped the blades around. Anytime I see that I'm below 6 brushes, I go buy another half a dozen, and I try to keep it up to a dozen brushes because you never know when you're going to run out of these. If you get a call for a big job at a dock, you got to go then, and if it's a warm day, you're going to lose these brushes before you can get them cleaned out and dried out. I take the big shears and I cut these off by about 1/3 off the bottom to make it a little shorter and stiffer, and then you give them an old Bob Ross and knock all the extra hairs out so you're not putting those animal hair into your fiberglass repair. So my setup is a little different than what someone else's may be. I've got this little bottle here, and instead of carrying the great big bottle of hardener, I'll fill this probably about half full. And on half full, and I can't tell if my eyes are that bad or if this is out of focus, but if it's out of focus, I apologize. But anyway, I'll fill this about half full because that's all the hardener I'm going to use in a day. Man, that bag needs to go somewhere else. Let's throw that in the trash box. Stupid bags. So I keep this up here so that whenever I get ready to pull out some hardener, I'll put it into that. And then I've told you before, if you haven't seen that video, you keep your hardener, your MEKP, keep it out of direct sunlight. And I always use a slow hardener because I'm out in the open, and that extra minute or so will help you. You've seen my little video to where I do tips for pros, where you put your tray, spider's already got in there and made a nest. You put your tray in a little polystyrene cooler. They're cheap. You can actually make you a cooler once you're doing some fiberglass, and I'm getting ready to make one that'll last a little longer and have a handle on it so I can actually carry it. That'll be later on in the end of the year, November, December video. I'm going to make that. Then so that I'm not rambling on forever, which is about all I'm doing, I'm getting ready to mix up a little bit of gel coat, and we're going to go back to work on the companionway. Well, the wind just picked up, Hurricane Ian coming in, and it would have done this
just after I got the gel coat brushed on, and I'll brush on several coats of gel. So you can see that's not sticking, but this is still just barely tacky. So what I did put on here is the gel coat. Once the debris falls on it, it will, wow, everything's starting to blow around out here. It will sand off okay. So it won't be a bad problem. It's not conducive to finishing it as quick as I wanted to, but oh well, that's the beauty of working on a vessel in the boatyard. So I put my gel coat over the raw fiberglass there. The cup ran out right there. I used that last little bit. I did the lazarette for first thing I did was a lazarette. I've got the drop cord laid in there to keep that from clamping up on it. This raw finished piece here, I put a coat on here. I'm gonna build this up. It needs a couple more layers. So I'll wait till the hurricane passes by, and then I'll come back and get to work on it. And right now we're just going to close her up. I've got to get this back in gel coat because the wood trim that actually gives you your rain lip that sticks over the edge of this was all falling off. It was down inside the vessel. I found everything and put it back together, cleaned it up, revarnished it, re-oiled it, revarnished it so that it would look good again. And we'll get that reattached. That will go back on with some 4200 to hold it. And then I'll finish up the spots here after the hurricane passes by. And we'll do our finish sanding. And then our last coat of gel coat, I'll make a tent over the area I'm working on with tarps so that no other debris can fall in it. And that day I will get out here and I will actually spray the final coat on. Now I didn't set up the camera for spraying simply because gel coat's going to kick off faster than resin. So you only have 20 minutes on a good cool day like this. It's 65 degrees right now and heading towards 70, which is perfect conditions. So this will be cured out in a little bit. The skin will be cured off and then it'll cure over the next couple days, but I'll get back in here and get to work on it. I'm inside working on the hatch cover for this little compartment here. I'll show you that. So what I've done is I've laid up a 2 layers of 1708. This will be the interior facing down into the hole part of the hatch. This will be the top piece. These two will be sandwiched together. This will have chopped strand added to it here, and then I will sandwich these two pieces together with pressure by putting the resin here and the 17 or the chopped strand in between on the opposite side here. See if I can pick this up without getting gooey. So I will coat this back side. It's already been resin, but I will coat it again, and then I will put the chopped strand on there and then make the sandwich. This way the 1708 will be the exposed part when you open the lid, and then this will get a coat of resin on this side, and 1708 will go on the back side of this, being the top of the deck lid, the access for that little hole where the engine compartment used to be. So I'll put more 1708 on it, glass it, and gel coat it. And I may even put a copy of a texture on it. Just transfer that texture to that little lid so that if anybody ever steps on this lid being made out of this foam board is going to last a lot longer than say it were made out of any kind of wood. So it will never have a rot problem anyway. It's more expensive to me, but whenever I give it to whoever is going to enjoy the vessel, then they're going to have something that'll last a lot longer than if there were a pinhole in it and the wood got saturated and rotted out. So let's get our hardener put back in the cardboard box to keep it dry, and let's throw a knot. The knot of the day is a bowline knot. So let's see how we tie this. And the first thing you'll need to do is untie the one that's here. Give this some slack. Now look at it. You see how simple this is? Okay, let's see if I can get you in frame and throw a bowline for you. So basically you've got this loop you start out with, and the loop is going to be the main thing you have to work with. Bring your line up out through the hole, go around. Let's see, I should go around this way, shouldn't I? Go around and then tuck back in. And you see how you've got your tag on the inside there? Now just work it nice and tight. I think this bowline had actually been flipped when I untied it. It wasn't my bowline, I just picked it up and tied it, but you work that knot down and it's tight. I think somebody went around the over in the front, but if you come out and go around, the way Grandpa taught me to tie it was the rabbit comes out of the hole, goes around the tree and back in. Now depending on if you're flipping your loop left hand or right hand, let's try it the other way. Let's try it over here. So if I flip the loop, bring the little rabbit up out of it, and the reason he called it a rabbit is because you're going to take 2 fingers and grab it, just like that, and pull it back. The rabbit runs around the tree and goes straight back in the hole. And you'll notice that it's inside there. And that is the way a bowline should look with this tail inside. It is a very strong working knot, and there is a way to do this bowline to make it more advanced. We'll go over that maybe next week. These are very secure lines, and the thing that is so good about them is you just take it, no matter how much tension you get on it, it seems you can always take this knot and bend it right here and pull and push, and it's loose again. And I've used these for actually leaning house walls back up straight, and then untied everything. I drove a truck for 27 and a half, almost 28 years. I've used a lot of bowline knots, and there are other knots that people will tell me that you don't want to use that. That's not going to be that good of a knot. And my knots always seem to do a lot better than people give me credit for. But it's just something you need to practice doing to making your knots. And yeah, I know, I just tied a different knot just sitting here talking to you. But that's something you need to start doing is start taking your rope and working on your knots until you get to the point to where you're comfortable doing a knot, that you can throw a knot, you can throw a stopper knot, and just do them while you're just sitting here talking to someone. And don't worry about what's going on. Just, you've got that feel for tying a knot, and you can tie one just as easy as you can talk. Thanks for viewing. I hope these tips are helpful and useful to everyone. Need more subscribers, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of the way I'm doing the videos now. I hope you all have a safe, healthy day. See you next week.